All right, what's up, team? Happy Thursday. I'm old enough to remember when, like in the 80s and 90s, if you were going to get a loan or do anything with money, you needed to go to a nice office, okay? And you had to meet with someone wearing a nice suit because that was the only way you knew you could trust them. That was the only way you knew they weren't going to take your money and run back then because we didn't have the internet. We didn't have Yelp. We didn't have, the Better Business Bureau and stuff like that, or at least wasn't prominent, wasn't easy to access. And now, some of the biggest crooks wear the nicest suits, don't they? Isn't that interesting? They took that trust factor and they've messed with it. They've made it worse. For me, like if you need a suit guy, I'm not your guy. Not because I don't wear suits occasionally, but because it doesn't matter. And also, when you look at these nice offices people have, someone's got to pay for them. If you're the customer, guess who's paying for it? You are. So keep that in mind. All right, so let's take a look at this. Derrick Evans here, home loan specialist, NMLS 155010. Call or text or email me. If you're considering a refinance right now, email me. Tell me how much you owe. Tell me what your, you don't have to tell me what your rate is. Tell me how much you owe. Tell me how much your home is worth, and tell me what your credit score is. And let me tell you what rates look like for you. Great opportunity. I think we're going to see Monday. I'm going to get to rates in a second more specifically, but I believe next week we're going to see a really, really good lock opportunity. So if you can kind of get this figured out now, by early next week, you can potentially get locked in and save some of that money. I'll go into that in more detail here in a second, but email me your info, text me if you want. That works too. Okay, let's take a look at this. So let me temper your expectations. Mayor Gloria unveils Homes for All of Us housing package. Okay. So sounds good. And I have nothing against Mayor Gloria. Todd Gloria, I think, does a pretty good job, in fact, for the city of San Diego. There are a lot of challenges in the city of San Diego. And, one of them is definitely housing. So let's take a look here at at least what we know so far is in here. And I haven't seen any paperwork on this yet. I'm just going off of this story. This is from NBC7 San Diego. Okay. Not my information, not my reporting, but this appears to be decent journalism. This appears to be, they're quoting the source. I like that. I want to hear it from the horse's mouth. And that's what we got here. So the initiatives we're unveiling today, this is from him directly, Mike Hansen, the city planning director, will help us build more affordable homes faster and create neighborhoods where San Diegans have choices to get around the city in more sustainable ways. Our city staff are focused on finding creative options that will increase access to housing that families, students, seniors, and current and future San Diegans can afford. Sounds great. It's a well-written, prepared speech. Let's dive into the details. According to an estimate by the city, San Diego will need to nearly triple annual housing production to meet the needs of its residents during the next decade. Let me tell you a secret. In 2014, I was an executive at the UT, the real estate division. I was the CEO of the real estate division. They recruited me. I would have never applied for a job like that. They recruited me. It's the first time I'd ever been recruited to a job before in my life. I took it. They paid me a bunch of money. It was a great deal. Now, while I was there, I got to become very close with Michael Harris, who is the director and executive at the Building Industry Association, which is the association of the builders in San Diego. He showed me, revealed some things to me. This is 2014, by the way, 7 years ago. Now, more production is happening now because that was closer to the crash. But 7 years ago, there's two things he told me that I'll never forget. Number one, he said, buy a house with an acre of land in San Diego County if you can find one, because they'll never build them ever again. So whatever we have, whatever's there, that's it. This is it. That's the end. So that supply is limited, and it's never going to increase. And he was right. Man, was he right. 2014. Now, he also said, you're going to notice that the production of new homes being built in San Diego is going to decrease sort of infinitely as it approaches zero. I was like, what? How could that be? And he showed me the data. And you can see it. Less every year, less new homes being built. Now, there's an exodus taking place in California. I believe last year there was 10,000. No. In California, there was 100,000 people who left the state of California. In San Diego, there was 10,000 plus people who left San Diego. But even with the exodus, we're so short on housing. Look, need to triple annual housing production. It's not going to triple. It's not even going to go up. It's probably going to go down. This is what is exacerbating prices in San Diego, and this trend is going to continue for some time now, years and years. I just did an event yesterday for realtors explaining this so they can help explain it to other buyers and sellers and people out there. And this is just proof. I mean, this is an estimate by the city. We need to triple housing production. Who? The city has done some good things. Like I said, Gloria's done some good things. The ADU thing is good. That helps create units. It helps generate opportunities for people, homeowners, to win by adding value to their property. Hey, you got room for an ADU? Guess what? Your property just doubled in value. You only had to spend a couple $100,000. There's good things going on. I want to make that very clear. The solution, however, here is very, very complicated. So, all right. So here's a couple of things you need to notice. And this is what they put out. A middle-income housing working group of resident volunteers. So, okay, middle-income housing, so people who are in middle-income housing, working group, so people who are working, residents, right, of San Diego, who are also volunteers, so that's a very specific group of people here, will formulate. They will formulate. They're going to figure it out and evaluate. They're going to formulate and evaluate. I mean, how many words are we going to use here? This is well written, like I said, but this is so far-fetched from an execution standpoint. They're going to formulate and evaluate ways to incentivize building more housing for families earning 80 to 120% of the area median income. Well, how do you incentivize the building for very cheap housing? The incentives are to build the housing that's going to be the most profitable. The cheapest housing is not going to be that. So if you want to incentivize it, you've got to provide tax credits. You've got to provide some sort of backdrop, some sort of incentive for builders to say, hey, listen, you're not going to make a whole lot of money building this over here, but we'll guarantee you don't lose money somehow. Or we'll give you the land. That would make sense. Hey, does the city have any land you can give and say, listen, we're going to give this to you, builder. We're going to give you the land for free. The most expensive part is we need you to build housing here that's affordable, and these are our requirements. That would be a solution. But to say you're going to come up with some group of people, some volunteer group of people who are randoms, and they're going to figure this out, it doesn't take that, but this is not really a plan. Also, other initiatives include housing at city facilities. Okay, that doesn't sound very great. Underused commercial sites. Now we're talking. Updating the city code to allow affordable housing in all neighborhoods. Whoa, record scratch. That's going to be a problem. Updating the city code to allow affordable housing in all neighborhoods. Now, when you say affordable housing, you're talking about Section 8. You're talking about, inexpensive housing. You're going to put some of that in Encinitas. You're going to put some of that in Rancho Santa Fe, in, Western Del Mar and East Carmel Valley, the East Gate, the West Gate. You're going to put that there. That's going to cause problems. You're going to have political problems with that. And there's no reason for it. You don't need to do that. You don't need it in all neighborhoods. You just need it somewhere. So focus on what the actual solution should be here, folks. Housing accessibility program for disabled and older San Diego residents. Okay. Housing accessibility program. What the hell does that mean? How do you even do that? How do you make housing accessible that is running away? I mean, the value of real estate in San Diego is still very undervalued. Very undervalued. I encourage you to do this. Go look and see the closest climate, the closest city to San Diego in the world is Barcelona, Spain. I've been there twice. I've looked at real estate there every time I've gone. It's dramatically more expensive than San Diego, and I think San Diego's a better city. Much better city. Much cleaner. It's less populated here too, but much cleaner, much nicer. Okay? But Barcelona is beautiful, and there's amazing things in Barcelona. I highly recommend you check it out. Way more expensive. Also, still more expensive in LA. Until the prices in San Diego are at least where they are in LA, it's going to be cheaper because it's a way better place to live, same climate. Northern California, much worse climate. San Francisco, a beautiful city, but a crappy place to live. I mean, it's a mess. So, and it's dramatically more expensive than here. That's why so many people are fleeing there for here. So until San Diego is at least the same cost as LA, San Francisco, Vancouver. Do you know how cold it gets in Vancouver? It's ridiculous that those places are more expensive than San Diego. So San Diego real estate has a long ways to run, and you're trying to come up with solutions to make it more affordable. The only way you're going to do that is if you give something away. There's no other way. There's no way around it. And it's either going to be funded by taxes, or it's going to be funded by the city just giving up some of their assets, like land. Hey, maybe find some land that's difficult to build on and say, we'll give it to you. Who wants to build on this? There's someone out there who can get federal tax credits and build affordable housing and figure that equation out. Give it to the private market. Just say, hey, we've got this land. We're willing to give it to anyone who wants to do this. That would make sense. Incentivizing housing construction on existing auto-oriented locations, such as car washes or repair shops in areas near buses or trolleys, and requiring new projects on residential sites to replace any affordable units and provide affected residents enhanced protections and affordable housing options. This is so complicated, team. This is so complicated. We're making this so complicated. And I understand that this is in good faith and that there are good intentions behind this, but this is so complicated that the execution is impossible. It's impossible. And unfortunately, that's sort of the issue with the housing, is that it's a long-term thing. There was somewhere in here, I don't know how I missed it, but they said they were trying to get the planning and the process from 4 to 5 years. It takes 4 to 5 years to build a project, and they're trying to get it down to just 2 to 3 years. Where did I see that? Maybe it was in the story. Maybe it wasn't written. And so they're trying to get it down to just 2 to 3 years. That would help, no question, but that's not, no one's going to really see that impact, because in the next 2 to 3 years, maybe you skipped ahead 2 years, but by then the problem's worse. You need a quick solution. You need to be able to say, hey, listen, we're going to give away this land. We're going to give away this land, this land, this land, and this land. We want people to build this, and you need to close escrow within 90 days. Go. Who's going to step up? Where's the entrepreneurs? Where's the people who know how to get tax credits? Where's the people who can make this happen? I know a guy. So good luck to the city of San Diego. Good luck to Mayor Gloria. I hope it all works out. I really, really do. I just don't know. This is just too complicated. I'm sorry. I wish I had better news. Let's take a look at interest rates. Mortgage bonds, which are what drive interest rates in the mortgage industry. And we are live here, so feel free to say hi if you'd like to. Subscribe to us on YouTube. If you want all of my content, you have to subscribe on YouTube. I don't post everything on Facebook. All right. So remember, we want to see higher bond prices. That means lower mortgage rates. That's the key to understanding this chart. We are hoping to see that. We've been seeing it. We had a bottom down here. That was scary times, right? That was the Fed day, killed us that day. It turned out to be the best day to buy. Now we've got this uptrend in place. We had this one, or what was one kind of like this, that was broken. But see, you can kind of just say, all right, well, here's the real trend, and this was just an anomaly. You kind of look at it that way. And it does make sense. We do have the 200-day moving average. We've knocked on the door twice here. We now have an old Fibonacci. It's a 382 right here. So we got this 200 and this Fibonacci, which are going to cause problems for us. But, we're 101.66. That stuff's up around 102. We've got a little bit of room here to go up and improve. But this is going to be a tough level. If we can get through this, we could see lower rates. But I would still call right now a great time to lock. A lot of people are wrestling with, should I pull the trigger on a refinance right now? And one of the things that I've noticed is that a lot of people paused at the same time. So a lot of people just paused. And if you want to run numbers on a refinance, I have a very detailed process that I use for myself, which I share with you, on how to run the figures for, does it make sense to refinance or not? So just email me, and I'll tell you what. I don't need a lot of information. We don't need to pull your credit or anything like that. I do need to know what your approximate credit score is, but you can use, Credit Karma or something like that. We'll use a conservative estimate. And then we need how much your house is worth, what you owe. You don't even have to tell me what your rate is. Doesn't matter. I'll just tell you what your opportunity is. So you can run the numbers on it. But right now, with this sort of resistance right here, it's most likely that we're going to see bonds retreat. However, the old saying, don't fight the Fed. The Fed is buying, and the market seems to be pretty quiet. So that's why we're seeing it run up. So that could continue. I do think to break through these two layers here, it's going to take some time though. So our best case scenario, I believe, is that we go sideways for a while. We keep knocking on this door until these lines converge, and then we bust through it. And hopefully, that will happen. But I still see this as a great opportunity to get locked in. I wouldn't pass it up. Now, if you're trying to do a refinance and you don't like the savings you're seeing, you're saving $80 a month, you're like, you know what, that's just not enough for me, then wait. And if you end up losing that $80 in savings, then it's not that big of a deal if rates get worse. But if rates, if bonds pop and rates drop, then hey, you're in a great position to go ahead and pull the trigger, and you'll be ready to go. Let's take a look at a couple other things here. I feel like we need to have some sort of sound effects right now. So I'm just feeling it. Let's just get some in here. Hello, Internet. How are you doing? Good to see you. You can always say hi. I'll say hi back. Okay. I'm going to quickly run through this. Unemployment numbers. It's also manipulated. I don't even hardly look at it. Financial market's pretty flat today. Not a whole lot going on there. VIX pretty flat. Oil back up to $71. What did I tell you? So when it dropped down to 66, what did I say? Buy opportunity. If you've been waiting, you've been hearing me talk about oil since $45, you didn't get in. That was the time to get in. That was a couple days ago. It's rebounded. Oil's going higher, team. It is. It's definitely, that's happening. Invest with caution. Consult your financial advisor. Gold, still a little bit over 1,800. Crypto rebounded. So remember, and this is so funny. In fact, I think I took a screenshot of it. Let me see if I did. If I did, I'll show you. Because, did I take a screenshot of it? I did. Okay. I thought this was really funny. Good to hear, Internet. She said she's doing good. This was Monday, 10:30 a.m. One of my friends says, "Oh, the crypto pain is real. Please encourage me to not fold like a cheap lawn chair." And then he sent one of those funny gifs. And I thought it was hilarious. And I told him, I said, hey, listen, that feeling that you're feeling right now, that feeling that like, oh my gosh, I just want out. I can't take it. Oh my gosh, I just got to sell. I got to get away from this. I can't take this feeling anymore. That is a buy signal. So what I told him was that feeling you're feeling right now is a buy signal. The market is manipulated in such a way that they control your emotions, and they control the masses via their emotions with price manipulation. I felt it too. And I was like, gosh, should I sell? Should I just get rid of some of this Bitcoin? Do I need all this Bitcoin? Should I buy some more real estate instead? It was going through my mind too. And I had to sit back and go, wait a minute. That's your emotions. They're fucking with you, man. Don't let them do that. Stay back. Buy more. So on Monday, I bought more. I bought more Bitcoin. More than my automatic. I'm doing dollar cost averaging. I'm doing automatic purchases. I bought even more. And I'm not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to just stick with the plan and just continue. I faded it. I knew it was coming. And I just pulled the trigger. It turned out that it was a good move. Who knows? It could still go lower. Bitcoin could go to zero. I don't think that's going to happen. But it could. It's at 32,000 now. Ethereum back over $2,000. And it's funny to me that XRP is still talked about. I don't know what's going on with that thing. Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash, who cares? So there you go. Now we're back up to 32,000. But my point was the emotions, when you feel like you just have to sell, it's just, oh man, I just can't take it. I got to sell. Oh, that's usually the time you should be buying. And when you get into those moments, you're like, oh, should I put everything into this? Should I just take literally all my money and put it into this? That's when you should be selling. Okay. Because they're going to manipulate your emotions. Remember when Bitcoin was at 65 and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just the best thing in the world. I still think it is, but I screwed up. They got me. I entered in the low 50s, bought all the way up into the 60s, and I've been dollar cost averaging ever since. But I literally felt that way, and that's what gave me pause, and that's why I decided to do a dollar cost average strategy. It's very, very hard to play the game in manipulated markets because of those emotions. So just be careful, and try to fade yourself. If you notice your emotions are telling you to do something, just realize the opposite is probably what you should do. So maybe do nothing. That might be better than doing something that's not good. Jobless claims shows surprise again. They're well above expectations at 419,000 versus 350 estimate. The problem with the jobless claims, and now we have 3.24 million people that are on unemployment. This is a good video. Watch this. Rick Santelli's really good. He shoots you straight. If you want some good information, I'm just including this link in the post. Sales of existing homes rise slightly as more listings finally hit the market. Well, listen, there are a lot of people who were never going to list their home until after the real chunk of the COVID scare was over, until masks were gone, we were back to normal. There are just a lot of sellers who were just never going to do that. And I understand you got strangers traipsing through your home, and look, I totally get it. Selling a home is a very invasive process. You're inviting people into your bathroom. You know what I mean? And it's an invasive thing. And when there's a scare of disease out there, and there's a lot of people with pre-existing conditions, a lot of people who are at high risk, they're never going to list their home until you get to that point. Now we're in sort of like, there's a vacation frenzy, there's a travel frenzy going on because people haven't been able to travel for a while. So, hey, no mask. All right, cool. I'll wear a mask on the plane. Let's go. And so there's a lot of that going on too, which had kept inventory down. You're not going to sell your home until you're done traveling and doing all those things. So, you're going to see a little bit more inventory. This is a good thing. We need more inventory. Prices continue to rise at this level. No one except for Wall Street and the uber rich will be able to buy houses. So this is good. Do not see this as a negative. They always try to frame it that way on the site. It's annoying. JP Morgan's top economist sees significant chance Powell could be out as Fed chairman. Well, someone's got to be the sacrificial lamb. I mean, if you're in charge, the Fed is supposed to curb inflation. That's what they're there for. And we've heard them mention recently multiple times that our job is to make sure that growth continues. What? No, it's not. And so, yeah, it would make sense if someone were the sacrificial lamb, and who better than the Fed chairman? Now, who would come in as Fed chair behind old Jay Powell? I don't know. I don't think he's done a bad job, but I don't believe in the bow tie guys. They believe too much in the past. We got to look forward. We got to look at now. We got to know what's going on right now. Use your common sense. Stop looking at the freaking numbers. Just use common sense. Go live life and look and see what's happening to people. That's all you need to do. It's crazy. Mercedes planning to go all electric by the end of the decade. I brought this one up because a lot of people are like, hey, I know you talk about, oil, investing in oil companies. Don't you think like, they're going to be obsolete and all that stuff, but just they're energy companies like Exxon, Chevron, they're energy companies. So wherever there's money in development of energy, they're going to be there. And so, yeah, the oil thing has been a great business for a long time. And it's going to be a very long, roadmap, a very long runway to get to where oil is obsolete. It's not going to happen in our lifetime. So maybe don't leave Exxon stock to your grandkids, but you can certainly own it for your own retirement portfolio, and it's going to do fine. And this is great. I'm glad to see more electric. I have a Tesla. It's awesome. Here's how to tap your house for cash as home prices soar. Okay, that's definitely not the way that we should be presenting a cash out. Tapping your house for cash. Who is the editor here? That is not the way to go about things, or the way to position things, or the way to think about using home equity. Because if you're going to reposition your home equity, which can make sense, you got to make sure that it's the wise thing to do. Yes, home values are up, which is great because it helps people refinance. You have mortgage insurance. When your home went up in value, now you can maybe refinance and get rid of your mortgage insurance, which, by the way, if you have mortgage insurance, also send me an email. Let's see if we can get you a quote on your rate, and just see how much you could save. I have access to everything, banked rates, retail, broker, everything, so I can help you find the lowest rate. Let's see if there's an opportunity there, but don't look at it like, oh, well, it's free money. We didn't do anything. We just bought the house. It's free money, so we can blow it. Please don't do that. If you have debts you want to consolidate, let's run the numbers, make sure it makes sense. If you want to invest in your property, let's make sure you know what you're getting into. You want to add a pool, you want to renovate, you want to add an ADU. There's certain things that make sense, certain things that do not. I have a whole video about it. I'll send it to you. But let's just make sure we're not tapping our house for cash like you're tapping a keg for beer. Okay? Home prices are soaring, but that doesn't mean you should treat it like an ATM. So be careful. And they're talking about, different ways that you can access this equity. Sometimes it doesn't make sense to take cash out. If you're only looking for $20,000 to redo a kitchen or something, maybe you don't need to refinance the whole loan. Maybe there's a smarter way to go about it. And so we can help you figure that out too. Okay, team. I'll get off my soapbox. I know. Hey, listen, I wish the city of San Diego all of the good fortune in the world. I really hope that they can figure out. I think they've done great with the ADUs. I hope they can figure out a better way forward for housing in San Diego, for affordable housing in San Diego. I just think the stuff they're talking about right now and the stuff that's on the table is basically has a 0% chance of being effective in any way. And that's sad. I wish there was a business person. I wish there was someone in real estate. We should send Mark Marquez in there. Someone who really who understands home building, who is in the real estate business, and who can tell you okay, this is what you really need to do. If you want to get the builders to build this, because you need builders to build it. The city can't build it. That's the only other alternative, which I guess we didn't talk about, is the city could take that on themselves. You could create city housing. So the city is now going to build stuff, right? They're going to build these places. Maybe you take, and this is where, I get on the stuff with people who are on unemployment, everyone who's on unemployment, you need to come here and work and build these houses. But I'm not going to go there. So the city could build them, but what's going to happen with the city? They're just going to contract it out to someone else, right? And they're going to end up paying a ton of money for it and renting it out at a loss. So, you could do that though. You could do that, and you could figure out some way to have it break even, or figure out some way to long-term have it make sense. But ultimately, what we really need when you're talking about affordable housing, we're not talking about a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a picket fence and a small yard. When we're talking about affordable housing, we're talking about hotels. Keep that in mind. We're talking about studio apartments with kitchenettes. If someone can only afford $500 a month, let's say they're a senior citizen on a fixed income, and only afford $500 or $600 a month, even $1,000 a month, what are you going to get? It's going to be a single room, the bare minimum of everything. So we have to be realistic about this. We cannot be pie in the sky. We can't be politics with this. We got to be realistic. All right, I'll get off the soapbox. You guys share this with your friends. Let's help make them smarter than everyone else. Thank you for tuning in. Subscribe to the YouTube if you want everything. That's the only place to get it. And give me a shout. If you have a question about if you're going to buy, you're going to refi, give me a shout. Let me help you figure out what the best rate is going to be for you. I will help you find it, whether it's with me or with someone else, a wholesale channel, whatever. I'll make sure you get the best deal possible. All right, have a great day, team, and we'll see you soon.